What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and we are back with another video, surprise on DMC5 SE. Today I want to go over the review scores for DMC5 SE and actually touch upon a major performance issue which was outlined by Digital Foundry. As always though, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with anything and everything DevilNeverCry and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when new content drops. Getting straight onto the topic at hand though, the reviews for DMC5 SE. If you're watching this video as it goes live, today is the launch of the PS5 in the Americas and other regions of the world. Unfortunately for me though, I'm going to have to wait an entire week, which I'm still going to be harping on about. Sony, can't believe you let me down like this. I digress though. As it turns out, as it stands, DMC5 SE is currently the highest rated game on Metacritic. I assume this is because reviews for games like Demon's Souls and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which no doubt will get similar if not higher scores than DMC5 SE, haven't come out yet. I assume maybe it's because those games are longer, they'll take longer to review, who knows. It's also convenient is that there are no reviews for DMC5 SE on the Xbox. I'm not sure if this has to do with a marketing deal with Capcom and Sony. I'm not sure if journalists and outlets were only provided with PS5 review copies, who knows, but there are only reviews for the PS5 version of the game, and as it stands, it's the highest rated game at launch. I guess you could say DMC is back, though I guess it's been back for over a year now at this point, so maybe that sentence doesn't have as much weight as it used to. But I digress. Let's move on to the performance issue that I mentioned. So Digital Foundry recently put a video out discussing the performance of DMC5 SE on the PS5. They looked at all the frame rates of the different performance modes and they compared them, and it turns out things aren't looking too hot. For those of you not in the know, DMC5 SE obviously supports 4K, it supports ray tracing. You can choose to have your ray tracing on or off. You can even have the high frame rate mode, which is where the problems really start to begin, I'll say that much. For those that really want a cinematic experience, you can run the game at 4K with ray tracing enabled, but you'll be capped at only 30 FPS, which, yeah, I shouldn't have to tell you why that is a very bad idea when it comes to DMC games. Or if you're a big fan of performance, you can run the game in this high performance mode or high frame rate mode, which is up to 120 FPS, which that wording automatically tells you that something is up if they're saying up to, as opposed to, it is the 120 FPS mode. But to cut a long story short, the high frame rate mode hovers anywhere between 100 and 120 during standard gameplay, but then it tends to drop significantly and constantly well into the 70s, which I shouldn't have to tell you that with frame rates that high, it's going to be super unsmooth, super juddery, and almost just ruins the experience, which again is a sentiment that Digital Foundry themselves reiterated. Frame rates that drop that much or that inconsistent don't tend to lend themselves to a cohesive experience. And things get even worse. If you have a 4K monitor or TV that also supports 120Hz, the game will detect this and will only output at resolutions that support 120Hz, which means you're not going to be able to output at 4K, you'll be locked to 1080p. Regardless of what mode you pick, whether it's 4K or no 4K, ray tracing, no ray tracing, the game will literally run uncapped. It will take the choice out of your hands, essentially. And to some that might sound great. These higher frame rate numbers, 80 frames, 100 frames, those might sound great and appealing, but the issue comes when the frame rate fluctuates up and down constantly due to, poor optimization or no frame cap, and then the game becomes a juddery mess because it just can't stay at a consistent frame rate. It's crazy to think that you could fork out a lot of money for a 4K TV, supports 120Hz, get ready to play DMC5 SE, and the game just goes, nah, we're not doing this. We're going to give you 1080p, we're going to give you this high frame rate mode, and you're going to like it. But I'm going to leave this video off here before it turns into any more of a rant. It's bad enough that this high frame rate mode has this many frame drops and fluctuations, but then to take the choice away from players and force it onto them, it just doesn't sit right with me, and it's a major oversight that I'm hoping Capcom notices and fixes somehow, even if it is just providing a frame cap. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you have a monitor that supports 120Hz? Are you even picking up DMC5 SE on a next-gen console? Because I know a lot of people, especially from the comments, are only going to pick up the Vergil DLC. And before we round out the video, I do want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's recently followed me over at Twitch. We're close to getting partnered, which is awesome. And of course, if you want to catch my DMC5 SE live streams when they do go live, follow me over at twitch.tv/DevilNeverCry. There is a link in the description. With all that said and done though, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next video.